Isn't she so cute? All of my stuff has always been she's, except for my first car. That was the only man in my life. And even when I got the new car, I named it a more feminine name because I was just like, no. There's never going to be another man in my life like Bubba. I miss him a lot, yo. Every time I got to make that car payment, I'm like, what did I do? But I now can go anywhere and I don't have to worry about like something happening to the car. I don't have to worry about it stalling out. I don't have to worry about what that sound is and if that means it's getting worse or and how much money. I don't have to worry about that. At least not for right now. And I'm gonna take it. I will take that gladly. Anyways, today's video is not about my car. Today's video is a reading wrap up and it's a reading wrap up from I don't know how long at this point, maybe like a month and a half, 2 months max. And also I thought to just include I know everybody does 10 before the end. I don't want to commit to the 10 books. So I have some that just naturally feel like they're next in line before the year ends, not including a reread that I really want to do. And I think I just want to do one reread before the end of the year. I don't know. I'll keep you posted on that. But anyways, let's get started because look at this stack of books. Do you see that? I know the sun is in the way. Let me try to block the sun for you guys. Let's start with the reading wrap up part of the video, of course, because that's obviously makes the most sense. So I read the Crowns of Nyaxia series. Well, not all of it. I read Six Scorched Roses, which is a novella. And then I read The Serpent and the Wings of Night. And then I read The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King. Those titles are going to be the end of me if I'm being honest. But I read those. I liked all three of them. I think, yeah, I gave all three of them 5 stars. Vibes. It was fun. I had fun. I was entertained. I was giddy. I was gasping for breath. I was all of it. I was having such a good time with those 3 books. I do want to continue the series. It's just that I don't love the hardcovers. And I don't love having unmatched books, mismatched books. I just made up a new word. I tried to. So I want the next book. I don't know the titles. I'm sorry. They're just so long. I'm sorry. I want the next book, and that one's out in paperback. But then the 4th book is not. And that one I think doesn't come out in paperback until next February. I'm so wrong. It comes out next year. So I'm on the fence about whether or not I want both of them in hardcover or if I want to just wait until both of them come out in paperback. Oh, I didn't even tell you what the Crowns of Nyaxia series is about. It's about vampires. At least the first 3 that I read, those are vampires and humans. Six Scorched Roses very much so felt like a romance-forward novella. Like, it was a romantasy, in my opinion. Whereas with Crowns of Nyaxia, I feel like Carissa Broadbent, I feel like she balanced the political intrigue and, like, scheming that was going on with the arranged marriage and romantic plot. I think that both of them went hand in hand, but she did a really good job balancing them for me personally, to the point where, like, there maybe were a couple of plot holes. Plot hole who? Plot hole where? I'm busy. I'm having fun. I didn't even see him. Then, Possession of Alba Diaz. That was a good time. That was a lot of fun. I didn't love the ending. I felt like we were going in one direction and then all of a sudden it did something else. And it wasn't bad. It just, I didn't see why we had to shift gears like that. I don't know. It kind of irritated me. It's literally a book about possession. She done fucked around and she found out. She went in that mine. She went down into that mine trying to follow the guy that she was like, but she's betrothed to the guy that runs the mine. So she goes down into the mine. She didn't come out by herself. That's all I'm gonna say. She did not come out by herself. And it showed. It showed pretty immediately. She did a great job with the like creepy possession-esque type moments, like those stereotypical moments where you're like, oh, that bitch possessed. She did a really good job with those. They gave me the heebie-jeebies. Her descriptions of the woman and like the changes she was going through as the further she got into the possession, fantastic. I just feel like the ending, I would have been fine with where I thought it was going the first time. And then when she did like a 180 on me and all of a sudden I was like, oh, we're doing this instead. Again, I would have been fine with either ending. It just felt very jarring, shifting from one to the other. I think we should have just picked one and ran with it. But it was good. And that's the first time I've seen romance so heavily, I don't know, like it was such a heavy part of the story in addition to the horror that was going on. And the horror was very much so just the possession part. A little bit of religious trauma going on in that one. So like if you are iffy with religious stuff, maybe don't touch that one, to be honest, because it was heavy on the religion, but it was also like heavy in the like religion part. So that was a good one. The second death of Locke. I'm sure you guys know what it's about because it's new. Everybody's talking about it. You have a knight. It's a knight, a well, and a mage. There you go. And the well is Gray. And the mage is the guy, Greer, I think is his name. They are childhood friends who have literally grown up with each other and now they now they work together, right? So he pulls magic from her so that he can use the magic. She just basically is a well for the magic. Except come to find out, Grey is so much more than you could have thought. She's like the last well of magic on Earth. So like nothing can happen to her basically. And he knows this. He knows this the whole time, but nobody else around them knows it. And it's full of yearning and like, it's a respectful yearning, a yearning from a distance where like neither party's try to force themselves on the other, neither party's trying to coerce the other into loving them. It's just, I genuinely love you so much and I want the best for you. I loved it so much. I do have to say, up until maybe like the last 10% of the book, it was perfection. The balance between the politics and the warring, the scheming, all of that stuff, everything, the magic, all of that was so well balanced with this romance. Everything felt so cohesive, so seamless. It just felt really good reading it. And I was like, oh my God, yeah. I was eating it up, y'all. I was going crazy. And then the last 10% hit and I said, what the fuck just happened? It took such a drastic shift. It went, I don't know. It's like we kind of forgot about the plot, but then at the very last page, last paragraph, basically, we tried to like bring the plot back into the romance. And I'm like, no, dog, you definitely forgot about like 2/3 of what the book is about was just forgotten about it for the last like 10%. So unfortunately, it didn't land well, I guess. Does that make sense? Unfortunately, we didn't stick the landing. Unfortunately, but everything up until the end, that last 10% for me, was fantastic, phenomenal, infinity stars. I have 2 more in this wrap up that were they were such misses, it's not even funny. And I won't go too much into detail about An Enchantment of Ravens because that is part of a vlog and I railed on that book. I went off on that book. It just felt half-assed. It just felt like we didn't complete a thought. We didn't complete an explanation. You gave me pieces of information. You never looped them together. We never used them to do anything. I just felt like maybe I was reading a draft versus a finished product. That's what it felt like. I'm sorry. But in Enchantment of Ravens, you have a young woman who's human. The world that she lives in, there are fae, but the fae can't do like creative tasks. Like they can't paint, they can't build, cook, nothing like that at all. Anything even similar to that, they can't do. So they go to the humans for it. So she paints portraits for the fae. They love her. They love seeing themselves because they're all like these pompous, self-absorbed little sneaky fae. I was really working hard there. Anyways, she ends up doing a portrait for the Autumn Prince, I believe. I know his name is Rook. I don't know much else about him, to be honest, because I just really didn't like that book. I should have DNF'd it, but I was like rage reading it at that point. She does a portrait for Rook. While she's painting, she like goes into this like, like people talk about runner's high. It was like painter's high. And it ends up being that she like painted sorrow in his eyes. So he takes it back to the Fae Court. They unveil his portrait. And oh my God, it's so beautiful. But oh wait, he's sad. Rook is sad. He can't be sad. He's a fae. That's a human emotion. He came back to get her. He came back to get her, to take her back to the Faeland, to put her on trial. I don't know what happened to that plot. It just went somewhere and we never saw it again. But that's all I'll say. It felt like I was reading a draft. It didn't feel like I was reading a finished product. This next one might actually hurt some people's feelings. Mind you, reading is subjective. So if you liked An Enchantment of Ravens, I fucking love that for you. And I'm going to hype you up. I'm going to hype you up every time you talk about it because you read something and you liked it. I don't care if I liked it. I'm not going to go on somebody's page who's talking about how much they love these 2 books I'm talking about, and tell them how much I hated it. No, I love the fact that you love something that you picked up and you read, especially because reading takes time. Even the fastest reader, like it still takes time for you to read. So if you're spending your time on that and you like it, I love that for you. Literally, I love that for you. Do you want me to buy you a copy of the book? Because I will. The next one, I don't even want to talk about it. It makes my tummy hot. Nocticadia. I can't stop laughing because I'm nervous. Look, okay, wait. Hold on, Linda. This book gets so much hype. So much hype. I found out about this on Book Talk. That's how I found out about it. Everybody's talking about the vibes, the romance, the writing. This is perfect for the fall, spooky season. And I'm going to give it that. I will give it that. The author knows how to set the atmosphere. They know how to set the tone. I fear we missed the mark when it came to the romance and the plot, which is like basically the story for me. This just did not work for me in any way, shape, or form. This book is 700 pages. 700 pages. The first maybe this much, let's say like the first 200 pages, had my attention. It's about a young woman whose mom dies, but like in a really weird way. And she witnesses something that everybody around her kind of makes her feel like she didn't actually witness. But I don't know. I feel like for a moment there, she was trying to convince herself that she actually didn't see it. But she did. She fully did. Anyways, mom passes away. She is working really hard to keep her sister at her boarding school, and her stepdad is like, he's around, he's trying to be helpful. He's like a well-intentioned guy, even though he kind of like sometimes misses the point, in my opinion. I don't know what her name is, Lily, I think, or something. We're gonna call her Lily. I don't think it's Lily. She gets accepted to this really prestigious, really secretive school, Dracadia, if I'm not mistaken. She goes there to find out, she wants to research what happened to her mom. This school does actively research the thing that had infected her mom. So she goes there to further, like, she wants to know what happened to her mom. She wants to put a name on it. She then wants to like find a cure for it, blah, 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 all that heartfelt stuff. Meets a professor, of course. It's the professor-student romance. Meets a professor, and it just was like really weird. After they started like running into each other and like interacting, everything just felt, yeah. Anyway, sorry, I had to readjust. After they started interacting with each other, I think his name is Bramwell. He and Lily, their relationship just felt very forced. It didn't feel organic. It didn't feel natural. It felt like every situation that they encountered was to bring them closer together on purpose. And that was the only goal in those situations. And there is a scene with a video, and when I tell you that it literally made my skin crawl just to read it, it was so cringy. It was so cringy. And the whole point of that scene was to bring them closer together, like to put them back in each other's orbit. And it just, after that, it was downhill. It was downhill. Again, the vibes were there. I think the tone, the setting, atmosphere, all of that was great. It's just, I just didn't feel like there was a good story to go with all of that, in my opinion. So I ended up finishing it because it was a buddy read. I don't think any of us loved it though. I'd have to double check, but I'm pretty sure all three of us were like, that was really overhyped. The other one that I DNF'd, but this has since become a very soft DNF. I'm going to be finishing this, actually. I'm going to finish it. Survive the Night by Riley Sager, sorry. I was reading this during a reading challenge. This young girl experiences a loss. She then decides she wants to go back home. So this is like the 90s, I think. And the university has like this like ride board where you put a thing saying where you want to go. And if somebody else is going in that direction, you can carpool with them to save money on gas, right? Or like you'll put, I'm going here. Does anybody want to come with me? Split the gas. She puts her sign up on the ride board saying she needs a ride to wherever she's going. I think it was like Youngstown or something. This guy comes up. She just assumes that he is a student, a grad student. She just assumes, and they're talking, and he finds out where she's going, and then he says where he's going, and they're going to carpool. So then they meet up and they carpool. She gets in the car and she's like, something ain't right here. Something is not right in this car. I'm not safe in this car. And I DNF'd it because the narrator, the main character, is such an unreliable narrator that it was starting to grate on my nerves because I was like, this literally doesn't make sense. You're doing everything opposite. Like it was just too much for my brain, and I started to get frustrated. In the book's defense, and this is a huge defense for the book, I was doing a 24-hour reading challenge when I tried to read that. And it was like one of the last two books. So I don't know that Survive the Night ever had a chance. I don't think that it ever stood a chance after what I went through, which is not the book's fault. It was 100% my fault. I didn't prepare well enough. I didn't pick the books well enough. So I will be finishing Survive the Night. I do want to finish it because that was like maybe 2 weekends ago. I've been thinking about it a lot. Like, I wonder what, I wonder where, I wonder who. So I will be finishing it, but it was tough. Unreliable narrators are so tough. Me personally, I don't hate them, but they got to be done well. Otherwise, I start to get so aggravated with how unreliable they are. So I'll be going back to that soon. Probably before the end of the year for sure. Next book up. Oh, this was a good surprise. The Warded Man by Peter V. Brett. This was a fantastic surprise. If you like Attack on Titan specifically, like the first few episodes, like really drew you in, like had your attention. You were like, what are Titans? What's going on? Who's the bad guy? This is fantastic. You have a world where demons, they're referred to as demons, and there's different types of demons. Another call to Attack on Titan, in my opinion. They're not all the same. These demons spawn from the ground when the sun goes down, and they just terrorize people. Like, they truly are the bad guy. There's nothing to be said about the demons that you could be like, oh, maybe no, they're bad. They're bad. They're out to kill. They're out to whatever they do. I don't even think they eat them. I think they just kill them for fun. And you have 3 point of views. You have Arlen, Roger, and Lisha. The character work, in my opinion, wasn't the most solid. It wasn't the best character work I've ever seen, but it's book 1 in 5, I think. It might even be 6. I think it's 5. So obviously we're just getting to know the characters. Maybe I need to give them a chance to like wow me, you know? But what I really enjoyed about it was the mixture of having this known undisputed bad thing, which is the demons, right? And then you have people who they're really just like out for in their own interest. Like they're just doing whatever they want, whatever they can, to survive, to keep their families going. They don't want to be the next one eaten by the demons. So it was a lot of fun to read because you have 2 different antagonists. One who everybody knows they're the antagonist, and the other who everybody but that person seems to understand they're the antagonist, but like that person doesn't get it, that they're the bad guy. It was kind of like that. It was a lot of fun to read. It was a lot of fun. I think maybe like the first, 50 pages were kind of tough. They were slow. It's a lot of seeing Arlen as a child and like his trauma that kind of caused him to become who he becomes at the end of the book. There's a really heartbreaking scene where like he finds out that something that happened to him didn't need to happen. It could have been avoided. And I felt like I was watching his villain origin story starting. I don't know. It was really good. I enjoyed it. I do have to say, it's not one of those books that I would recommend to everybody because it is very bleak. It's a dark fantasy. There are some triggering moments. They're never like explicit, right? Like one of the characters is essayed. It's never explicit, but it's referenced. You know exactly what happened. And it's a little grotesque, even though you don't see it. It's kind of weird to explain, but yeah, not one I would recommend to everybody. Like you have to want to read something that is just dark and heavy. There's no romance. There's barely any friendship. It is just survival. If you're cool with that, you like that, or you're seeking that, I'd recommend at least the first book. But I'll keep you guys posted because I do want to read The Desert Spear somewhat soon-ish. We'll see though. We'll see, because again, I don't like to commit myself to anything, because as soon as I say I'm going to read this book, I'm like, well, no, I don't want to read that book. Ooh, The Tainted Cup. I don't have it over here. The Tainted Cup was really good, you guys. The Tainted Cup was a lot of fun. Sherlock Holmes mixed with first season of Attack on Titan. I don't know what it is with the AOT books lately, but they're hitting. I might do another book recommendation video for fans of Attack on Titan because I really enjoyed the last 2. I'm not going to say anything about The Tainted Cup because I can't seem to put it into words without spoiling things, and I really think you should just go in blind. If you like old-timey like murder mysteries that end up becoming a lot more than a murder mystery, if you like a little dose of like magic, I want to say a little dose of sci-fi because there's an aspect of it that felt very sci-fi-ish, but that's not referenced anywhere, so take that with a grain of salt. I would recommend The Tainted Cup. I thought it was a lot of fun. And the audiobook is just fantastic. The audiobook is phenomenal. And that's actually, so I guess we're skipping around, but it's one of the books that I do want to read before the end of the year is A Drop of Corruption. I just hate the fact that the hardcover cover is the cover. There's no dust jacket. Like, this is the cover of the book. It's like a textbook. I don't like that. It's like a textbook. I get really mad every time I look at that book. I vlogged about The Cruel Prince. That was really good. That was a lot of fun. I have been rereading the Red Rising saga. I've gotten through the first trilogy. Pierce Brown, count your days. That's what I'm going to say about that. I feel like everybody knows what the Red Rising saga is about, so I'm not going to talk about it, but I've gotten through the first 3 books, and I'm going to start Iron Gold this week because I'm going to buddy read it with Lou. I'm nervous. I feel like we went through a lot in Morningstar, so Iron Gold should behave itself, at least for the first part of it. But I'm just nervous. I'm just nervous because there's some players from the first arc that we left them. And I fear we should have maybe left them with a little bit more supervision. I feel like they're going to turn into problem children in the rest of the series. So I'm excited about that. I'm not in any rush to finish them though. I'm not in any rush to finish them because I know that Red Gold, whatever it's called, doesn't come out until next year. God knows when. So I'm taking my time. But I will be finishing Iron Gold before the end of the year for sure. I'm enjoying that series. It's a lot of fun. It's emotionally charged. It's political. It's just everything, and the characters, and the fact that Pierce Brown writes a hero who has to go through some shit. I feel like sometimes we read about these heroes, and don't get me wrong, I like it. It's fun. It's entertaining. I'm emotionally connected to them sometimes. But Pierce Brown wrote a hero who goes through so much loss, experiences so much trauma. Like, it's not just, oh, I have to give up this little thing. I have to sacrifice this little thing in order to become the hero and defeat the villain. It's so much more than that. Like, in order for these people to successfully rebel against the Golds, they go through so much. They go through so fucking much that it not only gives the story more depth, but it gives the characters true development, because you're actually watching them go through these horrific, traumatizing events, and you're having to sit there and go through it with them and see them come out on the other side sometimes. And I just think it was wonderfully done. And the fact that we still haven't fully resolved the issue, it's just is really good. It's really good. I think he's fantastic with characters. I think this world is phenomenal. The way that we are traversing space back and forth, I just think it's fantastic. I would recommend it to anybody. The first book, in my opinion, is probably my least favorite right now, purely because it occurs at like an institute, academy type setting. Not academy, it's like an institute. Not my favorite. I don't love those super contained stories, especially like when we're in space and we can like go somewhere. But it was still really good. It was still really good. It was really easy to read, really easy to get through. But yeah, I would recommend the first 3 books to anybody at this point. Another one, recently just read this with Sheldina. This was our buddy read for November. I think we're going to try and do Recursion as well. I don't know if we'll have time this month, but this was really good. I talked about another one earlier this year, The Third Rule of Time Travel by Philip Fracassi. These guys are doing something. These sci-fi thrillers, I think this is my thing. I think that sci-fi thrillers are my thing right now. Okay, so this one is not time travel. It's more, I don't want to give anything away. Like, when I picked this up to read it with Sheldina, I didn't read the back of it. I just started reading it. And I think that that's the way to go with that book, Dark Matter specifically. But it has a lot to do with all of the potential lives that we could have lived or could be living had we made a different decision in some given instance. And I just think it's executed really well. I think it's executed really well. And there's like a little bit of like a love story going. It was so good. It was so good. I got to the end of that book and I was like, yep. So many times I stopped to be like, okay, I think I know what's going to happen next. Let me put this together. Wait, now I gotta stop again because he gave me new information and I think I was wrong before. Wait, now I gotta stop again because I think maybe this is going in a different direction than I initially, and I still didn't get it right at the end. I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was a lot of fun. It was a little hard to follow along because they do talk like kind of sciencey in certain parts, but it's nothing too crazy. It's nothing too involved, you know? Kind of like The Third Rule of Time Travel. If you haven't read that, I would highly recommend it. That one is more so time travel. But I still think it was done really well. I think like the overall thrilling aspect, like the mystery part of it, I think that lent so much personality to that story because that one is very science heavy. That one is very, very technical. But the author did a good job of balancing that like technical side of the story to the thrilling mystery that's going on. And we're trying to figure it out. And I honestly want to reread that because I finished it and I felt like I understood, but I also felt like maybe something else. I don't know. It's one of those stories where you're like, did I imagine that or is that really how that ended? I want to reread that one at some point. I only have 2 more left. Both of these were part of my 24-hour reading vlog. So much more preparation needs to go into that because I am too old to be doing it the way that I did it. I just wasn't prepared. I just wasn't prepared. I split it into 12 hours and 12 hours. I should get that posted relatively soon. Soon-ish. Life has been hard lately, all right? Life has been hard. Anyways, one of the books I read, Summit Lake by Charlie Donnelly. First of all, anything by Charlie Donnelly, I'm going to read it. I'm going to give it a chance because I fucking love this man. I read The Girl Who Was Taken, Summit Lake, Don't Believe It, Suicide House. 4 for 4. All 4 books, all 6 stars. They're fantastic. They're wonderful. You know what I think it is? I realized it when reading this one. Oh, this one, a young girl is murdered and we have to figure out what happened to her, and it goes back into her past, like pre what happened. It's just really interesting. It's a murder mystery. Anyways, I think what it is that Charlie Donnelly, I feel like that part of the plot isn't that important. Like that's not what should be like dragging you in. It's this part. Charlie Donnelly does this thing where he has all these different characters. There's so many different characters involved, whether directly or indirectly. And what he does is like throughout the story, he'll sprinkle in like snippets of a moment with this character, right? Like so-and-so picked up the phone and you can only hear their side of the conversation. And it sounds like they're telling the other person something kind of important. And they're saying they're going to meet up with them, but you don't know why they're going to meet up with them. And you don't know what the other person agreed. Like, it's just so interesting. And then you're left thinking like, are you being sketchy or did we just catch you making a phone call? Then you get another scene where like, oh, so-and-so is opening a door and they're talking to somebody on the other side of the door, but like, you don't know who they're talking to. You don't know what the other person said. You just know that they've let them into the house. Whoa. Is this the person? Is this the perpetrator? Or are we just letting friends in for dinner? But he does it in a way that doesn't feel deceitful. It just feels like you're getting a bird's eye view, but you only have one set of eyes. So you can only see so much. And then at the end, the way he ties it all together is like, how did I miss that? How did I miss it? And it's just a lot of fun to like have no idea what the fuck is going on. It's a lot of fun to be completely in the dark and be like, I don't know. Just guide me, Charlie. So read that. That was fantastic. And then my baby, I finished Empire of the Damned. This is not a book you want to try to read during a reading challenge, y'all. I don't know what possessed me. I really don't. It was a struggle. Not because of the book, just because like I was so tired. And this is dense. And it's dark and it's heavy and it's emotional. This is such an emotionally charged book. More so than Empire the Vampire. I feel like Empire the Vampire, I got to meet Gabriel. I'm not going to go through tropes and stuff like that because I feel like those are spoilers for this story specifically. But, you know, the first book laid the foundation and it got me invested. It made me give a fuck about the characters. It made me care about what they were going through. This tried to rip my heart out. This tried to rip my heart out, and it almost did. Fantastic. I think that the author is, oh my God, the tone, the atmosphere, the setting of the story, the vampires, the humans, the shapeshifters, like all the different creatures. I just think it works so well. He did such a good job creating this world. And then inserting these characters and like we just get to watch their story and the story within a story aspect. Oh my God, it was so good. It's so good. It's fantastic. It's wonderful. Empire the Vampire, the trilogy, is about this vampire hunter named Gabriel de Leon. And he is actually a half vampire hunter. I know. And it's his story, his life story. He's captured and he's forced to tell this vampire historian his entire life story. But there's just something about the way that Gabriel tells his story and then the way that we get to witness those interactions between him and the historian while he's telling his story. It's so well executed. I was really nervous to read Empire the Vampire because it's a big book. I don't really feel like many people talk about it. Now I hear about it more often because I've inserted myself in the circles where people are reading the trilogy, especially with the release of Empire of the Dawn. But I didn't feel like anybody was really talking about it. And I just got intimidated. I was like, what if I don't understand this? Like, what if this goes over my head? What if this is not for me? Baby, Empire of the Vampire is, I have to sit down and really, 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 really think about it. But I almost want to say it's like my favorite book of 2025. It's my favorite fantasy of 2025, I think. It was so good. I think Empire of the Damned was my favorite book so far. But the trilogy, oh my God. I'm really scared to finish it. I don't want to hurt. I don't deserve to be hurt like that. Anyways, all right. We did a little reading wrap up. I feel like there's more books that I could have talked about, but they're not sticking out to me. So I'm gonna just leave it there. I'm gonna leave it right there because I think that went from end of October, because there were books that I didn't finish. Like I started end of October, but I finished them beginning of November. So I feel like that went from end of October to now. So I don't know what that means, but well, no, there were some books in there that were for September because I read, I think I read The Possession of Albadias in September. I got that as an ARC. But then I waited until I had the physical copy to finish it. So there was that. Red Rising was in September. All right, moving on. Let's talk about the books that I want to read, hopefully before the end of the year. These I'm actively committing to because, again, they just, in my brain, it feels right. Like, it feels like these make sense for the rest of the year. Starting off with A Drop of Corruption. This is the book club book. Oh my gosh, why can't I talk? A Drop of Corruption. This is the book we're reading in a book club I'm part of on Fable. It's called Lost in Lore, and I'll link it if you want to join us. Lou is hosting, and we picked A Drop of Corruption. We all just read the Tainted Cup together, and then when she put the poll, she put this one on it, and like we voted for this one. I'm really excited. I just once again hate this fucking cover. At least put a dust jacket on it, because then it just feels like a regular book. This feels like a Bible or something. I just don't love that for me. Up next is one from the library, The Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arden. I don't know, I feel like this one comes up quite a bit in the fantasy circle, and it is part of a reading vlog that I'm going to do for December at some point. I'll probably do it for one of my Bookmas videos, if I'm being honest, because I've started planning for my Vlogmas, Bookmas, or whatever. But The Bear and the Nightingale, I want to read it because for some reason in my brain, it seems like winter coded, maybe because it's set in Russia or something like that. So I do want to read that, and I will let you know. I also got the second book from the library. I don't know if I'll actually get to it though, but I got the second book from the library. And then I'm doing my reread of Symphony of the Fallen Stars because Symphony of the Lost Dreams, I got an ARC for it. The author sent me an ARC for it. I'm really excited. So I started reading this one actually last night, and I think I am like 100 pages in because I was on my Kindle too. Anyways, I made a dent in this last night because I was reading it on my Kindle after I didn't want to hold the physical copy anymore. And then soon I'm going to be reading Symphony of the Lost Dreams, and I'm wicked excited. I think I reread it almost every year. Maybe there's been like a year or two where I haven't, but I feel like I've reread it almost every year. I'm in the middle of Ready Player 2. That will be finished up rather soon. I'm loving it. I'm not dragging my feet because I don't like it. It's just, it's one of those books, audiobooks specifically, that's just really good to put on when you're doing something. So I tend to save it. I'm like, okay, well, I have to do the dishes tonight, so I'm going to turn on Ready Player 2 while I'm doing the dishes. And it's like, what? So that's why it's taken me so long to get through it. But I think I'm like, I'd have to check the Libby app, actually, because I think I got further in the audiobook than I have physically. But thoroughly enjoying this one. If you haven't read Ready Player 1, highly, highly recommend it. I read it this time last year. I highly recommend it for the winter. It was perfect. I was cozied up on my parents' couch, which is now my couch, thank you very much, at their house, and the fireplace ambiance on YouTube had that going. They have their TV stacked on top of a like electric fireplace. The vibes were impeccable. That book was so good. Watch the movie, is fantastic. I love it. And I'm done gushing about Ready Player 1. My Dark Vanessa, this is on my 25 for 2025, which is the fail. I don't even want to go through that list and see what I haven't read. I'm going to read it. I think it's a lit fic. I have heard it's very heavy. It's very complicated. It's not a light read in any way, shape, or form. But I would like to read it. It's one of those books that I think I've just been scared, of course. But I don't know. I put it on the list to read it. So I'm just going to try to read it. And we'll see how it goes. If I can't handle it, then that's it. I'll DNF it and, whatever. But I would like to try, because again, it's on that list. Another one that's on that list, The Sword of Kaigan. I don't know if I'll be able to finish this whole thing before the end of the year because it's big. How long is this? I think it's 2 glossaries. Oh, it's only 611 pages. That's not bad. I don't know why I thought this book was like 900 pages. Another one from the 25 for this year that I would like to I would like to get to. And it's okay. Like, that is something where if I start reading it in December and it carries into 2026, I'm totally fine with that. I think I put it on my summer TBR and then I chickened out and I was like, I can't do it. I'm scared. Next two are part of a series, but they count. I'm counting them separately. The Wicked King and then The Queen of Nothing. This is part of that Cruel Prince trilogy. So we'll see if I can stomach whatever happens in this. And I only say that because on the back it says he bullies her. Navigating the constantly shifting political alliances of Fairy would be difficult enough if Cardan were biddable. But he does everything in his power to humiliate and undermine her. That's where I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I'm going to like it. I don't like bullies. I don't like bully romances. Characters that are like super, super big bullies in stories. I'm always sitting there and I'm like, enter. Aja, if you know, you know. Aja. That's all I'm gonna say. Stupid bitch. The Hero of Ages. This is the last book in the Mistborn Era 1 trilogy. So, The Hero of Ages. Book 1 was really good. High octane, very heisty. It felt good. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Book 2, I think, was a little bit more my speed, though, because I felt like we traveled a little bit more in book 2, which I enjoy that a little bit more than like heisty books. Still fantastic. They're both phenomenal books. However, The Well of Ascension, there was a point where I was like, can y'all just talk to each other? Can you just use your words and talk to each other? Because it's not even miscommunication. It's omission of information. Like, just fucking, you guys are sitting here having a conversation. Why can't you just talk about the thing that if you talked about would resolve the issue, this issue at least, so we can move on to the next issue, whatever, it's fine. I just really dislike that sometimes. Brandon Sanderson did it okay. Like, he didn't drag it out too bad, in my opinion, good. I really enjoyed The Well of Ascension, so I'm excited for The Hero of Ages. I am nervous, though. I am nervous, because I don't want to cry. I don't want to cry. I still have my tabs, everything, too. Oh, these are my tabs from the first book. I think I've had the same annotation key for all 3 books. I'd have to check Mistborn, but I think I have, yeah. And then last, but definitely not least, this is probably my #1 priority before the year ends. Oh my gosh, I don't even want to look at it because it's the end. It's the end. Empire of the Dawn. It's going to be the end of the trilogy. If I finish this, I'm done. There's no more. That's it. This is just 3 books. If I finish this, that's it. Oh, man. This is why there have been series that I have been rating for years and years and years and years. Because you get to the end and you're like, I don't think I could do it. I'm sorry. I don't think I can say goodbye to this. It's fine. There's another one that I really like to get to before the end of the year. So what do we have there? We have Empire of the Dawn, Hero of Ages, Drop of Corruption, last 2 books in the Cruel Prince trilogy, 5, Sword of Kaigen, 6, My Dark Vanessa, 7, Ready Player 2, 8, The Bear and the Nightingale, 9, and then Symphony of the Lost Dreams, which is 10. So I guess I did do 10. I did do 10, but it's not like a real 10 because I'm in the middle of 2 of these. 2 of these I'm in the middle of, so they will be getting done like probably by the end of next week. By the end of this week, I don't know what day of the week it is. And then, yeah. And this is a short. Whatever this is short. The Bear and the Nightingale. I don't love the fact that it's deckled edges on a hardcover, but it's only 312 pages. That's so short. I'm gonna fly through these. I think My Dark Vanessa is short too, if I'm not mistaken. 360. Oh no, it's like 400 pages. That's a little longer. But yeah, that's what we're doing. Those are the books that I want to finish before the end of the year. Those are some of the books I've been reading. I know it's not like a very organized, aesthetically pleasing reading wrap up, 10 before the end, but this is what you get when you come here. Cozy chaos. This is what you get on this channel. So I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know if there's anything that you've read, whether it's from my recent reading or if it's my 10 before the end. Let me know if any of the 10 need to be prioritized. Like I said, Empire of the Dawn is my #1 priority. Like, as soon as I'm done with Iron Gold, I'm jumping into Empire of the Dawn. No question about it. That is the next thing that's happening. But if there's anything else on the list that you're like, Ange, you got to bump that up, or like, Ange, maybe just drop that one down, replace it or something, please let me know. Let me know if you guys have planned like a 10 before the end, or like a whatever before the end, whether it's one book before the year ends, just whatever. Tell me. I'm nosy and I want to know. I also, if it's different from what I have, then I'm going to add it to my list. And then the next Reckoning video we do is it's going to have one extra book on it, and it'll be thanks to you, because you guys are enablers. Tell me this isn't fun. I'm having fun. Anyways, thank you guys so much for your support. Thank you for sticking it out through this video. I love you. I appreciate you. And I promise I will try to get a little bit more consistent with my videos. I have them recorded. It's just the editing process takes a long time for me, because I don't just have hours by myself to edit, because I'm working and then I'm a mom. So like, I just don't have a ton of time. But I promise I will get the videos out. I will get them scheduled so that they're on a schedule of some sort. But thank you for sticking it out. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I love you. And I will see you for the next video. As always, happy reading.